Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Wednesday, the 10th of April. And we're going to have a busy day today across the South, particularly in the Gulf states. We are already seeing numerous flash flood warnings this morning from the heavy rains of the last couple of days. We've got working tornado watches as of 8 a.m. Eastern Time across much of Louisiana and into Mississippi. Flood watches extend up into Alabama. We even have wind advisories on top of that. And this is all part of the next storm system that's going to be impacting the eastern seaboard later Thursday night, and into Friday. But today, at least from the standpoint of any watches or warnings or advisories, we really don't see anything from Maine down through South Carolina and most of Georgia and Florida. That's likely to change, though, tonight when these forecasts get updated. And you can see how busy the radar is. Look at all these warnings that are up. Again, this is at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're watching this later on this morning or this afternoon, obviously things are going to change. So please go to weather.gov so that you can get the latest information regarding severe weather. And some of the rain is moved up into parts of North Carolina, Southwest Virginia, back through Kentucky. We also have some showers this morning in parts of central Pennsylvania and upstate New York. Also, a couple of clusters of showers in northeastern Pennsylvania to the Catskills. And it's going to be that kind of a day today as we descend into what I always call gloom and doom this time of year, where you get into these days where it's cloudy and it lasts for several days in a row. So I think we're going to be dealing with this today, and particularly tomorrow, Friday, and maybe weather conditions will improve as we go into Friday night and Saturday. As far as rainfall is concerned, it's going to be another 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half for much of New England down into the mid Atlantic states. Big rains of an inch and a half to 2.5 inches from northeast Texas all the way up into the Great Lakes, and an additional 2 to as much as 5 or even more inches of rain across the Gulf states. And this is on top of the rain that they've seen over the last 3 days, and that heavy rain spreading eastward into the southeastern part of the United States. The West is a bit calmer. We do see 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half rainfall amounts throughout much of California, except the extreme southeast. The southwest is mostly quiet. Northern plains talking about 3/4 of an inch to some pockets of an inch and a half. We also have flash flood risks and a moderate risk through the Gulf states, a slight risk that goes all the way up into Illinois and Indiana. And then for tomorrow and to Friday morning, we have a marginal to slight risk, and WPC's actually expanded the area of slight risk to much of northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley, west of the Hudson River, back through Pennsylvania, down into northwestern Virginia and northeastern West Virginia and Maryland. Wouldn't be a shocker if we wind up seeing that get expanded a bit more. So it's all about low pressure that is developing in East Texas. It's actually for this time of year, that's not too shabby a low that's forming, which is why we're seeing all this severe weather going on. Here in the Northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states, a bit of an onshore flow is going to keep temperatures lower depending on where you are. For example, if you're uh, from northeastern Pennsylvania to New York City, north and east, 50s to around 60. If you're in from Philadelphia to Atlantic City, south and west, you'll probably be in the upper 60s to low 70s, where it wouldn't be a shocker to see the sun poke through in a couple of spots. But again, watch for some scattered showers around today. This storm heads northeastward up into western Tennessee by the time we get to Thursday morning, and then we'll also start to see the pressure gradient tighten up, particularly tomorrow night into Friday morning, with strong southerly winds and heavy rains up and down the eastern seaboard. And the low really wrapped up in southeastern Michigan there. So we're going to have probably some wind advisories to deal with here at the very least. Going into Friday morning, rainfall amounts of 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half. Then the front sweeps on through. Winds turn to the west. It's going to remain windy, probably some leftover showers Friday afternoon into Friday night. And then Still, maybe some leftover clouds early on Saturday before conditions improve as we go through the day on Saturday. So the weekend days, I think Saturday's probably going to wind up being the better of the two because we have a cold front and a little disturbance coming through Sunday that brings in the chance for some showers as the front goes by. And then finally, we should dry out next Monday. So, very, very busy day ahead. And I just want to touch on the severe weather risk today. We have a enhanced to moderate risk across the central Gulf states from Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle. And this is going to come with a 10 to 15% tornado risk. And in that hatched area, you see it indicates that there is risk for EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. And for tomorrow, we are seeing a slight risk western Pennsylvania down into northeastern Kentucky, also from a small portion of southernmost North Carolina down into northern Florida. And here too, we're going to see elevated tornado risk, but of the area of 2 to 5%. We don't see a hatched area for EF2 to EF5 tornadoes, so that's a plus there. So tune in tonight, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time as we cover this developing storm system and let you know what's going to be happening for the weekend and the long range. So we'll see you tonight at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.